Hello folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another Legacy video. Today we are going to be playing with Brett W's Tempo Doomsday deck list. Before I get started here, I want to say I've made a pretty significant design change to this deck list, and I want to talk about why I've done that. So this is the original deck list that was submitted to me. That essentially was like, hey, what if we play Necromentia in the main deck as another thing that you can Dark Ritual into? And the days in Legacy where you can win with like a Jester's Cap type effect like Necromentia are unfortunately over. Okay? So let's think about something like Blue Red Delver. Let's say that you junk their Murktide Regents. They still have a bunch of threats in their deck that they will kill you with, right? Let's say that you go Dark Ritual Necromentia and you remove their Force of Wills. You still have days to worry about. You still have all the creatures to worry about. There's still all the cantrips that are going to go towards those cards. There's still Force of Negation. Things aren't safe in Legacy if you cast a single Necromentia. And like this initial deck list was like, hey, I want to do this. But I think this is one of those times where I have to put my foot down and say, like, no, we can't. Because, like, unless your deck is built entirely around Necromentia, like you're some sort of crazy, like, Thoughtseize, Surgical Extraction, Necromentia prison deck where you have dedicated fully to that idea, this isn't going to get you there in Legacy. Especially considering that, like, if they end up getting a couple of 2/2s, like, that can kill you. You don't have a ton of interaction here. And this deck list was already doing something cute with Temporal Mastery that I'll talk about in a minute. So I don't think you get to play the cute deck that is, like, playing Necromantia and Doomsday and Murktide and Temporal Mastery and have a decent shot at winning. I am going to respect the donor's desire to have Grief in the deck list and Necromentia in the deck list, though. But here is the adjusted version that I am going to play. Necromentia is a reasonable sideboard card. Like, in certain matchups, particularly combo matchups, you can go and, like, extract a very specific card, like say Show and Tell, for example, and it can make it so that your opponent can have an incredibly difficult time of winning. But I don't think Necromentia is a main deckable Legacy card. So I have demoted that to the sideboard in the slot that probably should just belong to Opposition Agent, but like we're getting that card in there. As far as the main deck goes, what I've done is I've taken Maxtortion's guide, or well, no, Maxtortion wrote an article on MinMax blog that had his recommended deck list as of March, as well as a decent number of sideboard thoughts. Feel free to check that out at minmaxblog.com if you're interested in what I have up on the other screen here. I've taken that deck list and I've made some changes. So essentially, the name Tempo Doomsday, in case you're not familiar with it, refers to the fact that we are playing Murktide Regent. So this is just a great thing to have in your deck if you are playing cantrips. But the cute thing that this deck seeks to do is cast a Doomsday, put 2 Temporal Masteries on top, and just kill you with a Murktide Regent. Like, Thassa's Oracle doesn't matter in those situations. It's just Mastery, Mastery, hit you for 15 or more damage, and you're dead. Like, that's the game. And if that doesn't work, then you can have a Thassa's Oracle under that. I don't think the Griefs are going to be good. That is my expectation. If you kind of take a look at the black count in this deck list, it is exceedingly low. And like this is something that I can hardcast in the mid game versus slower decks, or in like emergencies versus combo decks. Like I can do this in the early turns, but I don't expect these to be good. So this is me trying to keep the donor's vision in mind while still like doing the thing that they have paid me to do. While also trying to win a respectable amount of games. As far as the sideboard goes, essentially we have very specific things that we're trying to answer. And with this deck in particular, I believe it is going to be correct to do something like board ley lines versus Blue Red Delver, which is a little dicey in a lot of matchups, but like since we also do have the opportunity to hardcast them, I think it's fine here. I believe to fit in the Griefs, I removed a Fatal Push and a Fluster Storm from Maxtortion's original deck list. I think you can mess around with the stuff that's here a little bit. Like, I think Plague Engineer, for example, is a pretty reasonable card that could be in here over the engineered explosives. Like, the cards do different things. But I'm pretty happy with this deck list as like a middle ground between the donor's vision and what I think is reasonable for Legacy. I'm sitting here thinking about this, and I kind of want Plague Engineers over Engineered Explosives. I think I'm gonna make that change. Yeah, I'm gonna make that change, and then I'm gonna run the deck list from here. All right. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoy. If you are a new viewer, please consider subscribing. If you are enjoying the content, and if you're a regular, throw me a like before the video begins. That's the easiest way to support my content for free. Let's battle. How good is Murktide Regent? Probably this good. Like, the only thing that I don't like super love in this hand is the Lotus Petal. All right. We are playing against Delver. Gonna makes this hand awkward, huh? How am I winning this game? I have to decide literally right now. Because if I want to go the combo route, I want Ponder and Knight's Whisper be what I work towards. If I plan on winning this game with a Murktide Regent, I don't Force of Will this, so I can get enough instances of sorceries in my graveyard to resolve a single Murktide Regent that kills my opponent. The primary issue here is that like my opponent is the better Murktide Regent deck than I am. I think I'm letting that happen. I have like Baleful Strix and shit in my deck. This land's a little awkward in that like I have Wasteland to think about, but I also have Black, Black, Black to think about, and I kind of want Basic Island for this. I technically with that land draw, I technically have access to Black, Black, Black. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab a basic here. Although if I get Wastelanded with one of these other Underground Seas later, like that I'm going to be exposed to anyway, maybe it's not correct to do that if I'm not going to play entirely on basics. All right. In which case I shouldn't have used my fetch land. Okay. I mean, yeah, I'm good with this. I'll keep those. I'm gonna play out this Lotus Petal, so that if shit gets weird, I can Force of Will around a Daze. Silver does not flip. Dragon Rage, Dragon Rage. Yeah, that's fine. Like, the Lotus Petal is worth a decent amount here. Going to just play this. I have Temporal Mastery on top of my deck, so if I leave this Lotus Petal in play, I can just take an extra turn next turn. I think that's better than playing Baleful Strix. Daze is going to be a hell of a drug, though. No Delver Flip again. So I'm only taking 2. That's okay. Getting Wastelanded again would not be okay. Fine. It's good. I don't think I'm doing anything about that. So I'll reveal this. We'll awkwardly cast it. I kind of think I have to fight over it if something happens. Yeah. So I'm going to force this pitching Malevolent Hermit. And then I'm going to try to play this fair game that results in me getting a Murktide Regent. Another Daze? Another Daze is brutal. Alright. If these Dragon Rage Channelers end up flipping and Delver also flips, life's pretty awful for me. Alright. So at this point, all I get to do for my turn is drop Underground Sea. Okay. So these things are now guaranteeing that I'm taking at least 7 damage next turn, but I'm probably taking 9. So like my Baleful Strix and Murktide Regent might not be enough to hold the ground here. And as always, when I get paired against Blue Red Delver, like Wizards, it's been upwards of 3 months at this point. Can we not? Can we do something about this? Lightning Bolt. Okay. So I am effectively at 3 life. If I play a Baleful Strix and junk one of these, I am still very much dead. I can get exactly Fatal Push to stay alive, I guess. So I guess I'll play towards that. Or no, that doesn't do it, right? Block 1, kill 1, take 3, Lightning Bolt. No, I'm still dead to that. Alright, I will concede at that point. So I think I'm probably looking at Ley Lines and Plague Engineers for this matchup. Brazen Borrower's not crazy either. Yeah. That's going to be 8 cards. Max sent me some sideboarding info. So I think I'm looking at. Oh, legit, the Doomsdays are coming out. Okay. So Doomsday and Thassa's Oracle are supposed to come out in order to play a fair game versus this deck. Okay. I'm going to trust the information that has been sent to me. I mean, oh hell yeah. Uh my inclination was already kind of to play like this, right? Like I already like before the game started was talking about like trying to play Leyline of the Void. I'm just gonna play Polluted Delta here. I don't really want to brainstorm. I'd like to slow this game down to the point where I can just play these things around days. That's fine. That's great. I will go ahead and just attempt to Fatal Push this right now around days. I'm not going to let my opponent open up more mana. And I would like to naturally draw a land. I might even end of turn Brainstorm, depending on what my opponent does. It's no shuffle. It's a wasteland. It's not great for me. I think I'm going to risk an end of turn Brainstorm here. It's just so much better for me to play this Baleful Strix next turn. This getting countered or missing lands or something could be pretty bad for me. Gonna junk the counter spells here. I'll take the Force of Will back, or maybe I should keep the Daze. I don't really want to return lands to my hand, but I don't really have anything to pitch for this right now. All right, I guess I keep the Daze. All right, then I'll go ahead and fetch. Grab a new Underground Sea. I will go ahead and play this out. I can fight over a Daze already. My own Daze. Cavern. Hell yeah. Yep, feels pretty good playing the control role here. I am just gonna take advantage of my opponent's low resources here. See if I can stick them. Operation not successful. Don't mind that draw. I'll bash in for 1 here. I won't play Fatal Push in a way that's dazable. Okay. That's fine. Yeah, I'll just wait to take care of that on my turn. Ooh, an uncounterable Murktide next turn. That's just fucking huge. Yeah. Attempt Fatal Push on that. And I'm doing this pre-combat so I can decide whether or not I attack with this. I do. I don't want this Underground Sea to be wastelanded. That would be a pretty huge detriment to me right now. Expressive Iteration is fine. Yeah, sure. That's all good. I think I am... Yeah, I'll reveal Temporal Mastery. That's fine. It's not a very good extra turn, but, like, it's an extra turn. Are you gonna fight over this? Yeah, absolutely. I am not gonna play this land and make this wastelandable, I don't think. Like, I want that to make my Murktide Regent uncounterable. It becomes a little awkward if my opponent plays a wasteland and hits this land here. Green? Yeah, yeah. I think it was Reed Duke who played a version of this deck list that had like light green and played like 2 Tarmogoyfs and then a couple of Ancient Grudges in the sideboard or something like that. Delver's fine. I can Plague Engineer human. Oh, and if my opponent plays another human, I'd absolutely do that. Awkward. Very awkward. So the awkward thing about it is like Plague Engineer is probably this turn or never in regards to killing this Delver. And if I make this Plague Engineer uncounterable, then I can't actually cast Murktide Regent. In which case it's probably not correct to do so and just ignore the Delver. Or play counterable Plague Engineer, but my opponent just used a Pyroblast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is my Murktide Regent. It's an 8/8. I think I am going to go ahead and attack with Baleful Strix. I should have technically done this pre-combat, but eh. Alright. Opponent's at 14. Opponent did not have another blast, or they could be playing around Daze. I did show them a Daze already. Aggressive Iteration. Fine. Okay. Guess I can get rid of my graveyard at this point. Wasteland. Absolutely. Yep. Ooh, do they have the second? Oh, they have the second blast. That is a very bad turn of events for me. Take 3 for attacking with the Baleful Strix then. That's fine. Not the best for me, but it's fine. Malevolent Hermit's okay. It's possible not playing this is correct, though, and just keeping this as Force of Will fodder. But, like, it's a mana leak on a stick that can come back as a flyer, so... Alright. It's in play. I don't think I'm gonna attack with Strix here. Yeah, with Murktide covered via Leyline, like Engineer does a lot of work. Maybe I don't know. Like, if I just put that in play and it trades for Delver and Lightning Bolt, that's okay. You know, maybe putting that in play and then having, like, Murktide to pitch to a Force of Will is also just, like, a reasonable way to win the game. That's less susceptible to a blast. Alright. These fucking Pyroblasts for my opponent are doing serious work here. Alright, goodbye, Strix. So, ooh. Yeah. I'll make that trade. I'm kind of tight on mana here, so I'm good with that. How much is the disturb cost for this? Disturb 3. Uh-huh. That could have been a fatal push. One moment. Okay, got a package from good old Amazon. So I'm not gonna use Grief as a pitch card here. I will say that if we're not playing against a multiple Wasteland draw from my opponent, this would be a reasonable hard castable card here that like does play into the tempo role. All right, I'm gonna take 9. Like, this is technically an answer to that Delver as soon as I draw a land. So that's good. I could Grief. Like, if this doesn't resolve, I am very likely dead. I just have to pitch Plague Engineer here, and that's such a good card. Oh, I don't wanna. I absolutely don't wanna. But I think my opponent has too many outs to this 2/2. Looks like I'm getting a Force of Will for my trouble. I was correct. So now I cast this for its disturb cost. An opponent needs a follow-up. Like, they can have a Daze, a Bolt, a Blast. Okay. Definitely scared, right? Because opponent has a lot of cantrips. They have, like, the normal stuff plus expressive iterations to find an answer to this. They can also just, like, trade the body and play another one or something. Yeah, I think I messed up earlier by not playing the Plague Engineer and killing this Delver when I had the chance. I don't have enough reps to know for sure, but given how this feels, that's where I think I'm at. Holy shit. I'm gonna wait. So just like quickly scanning my graveyard, right? There's not stuff in here. I'm also just like going to keep Force of Will or something that I can't beat. Does that count? It probably counts. I don't like it. I wouldn't do that on a ponder or anything, but like this is just kind of innately a 2-for-1. Okay. That makes this expressive iteration a lot worse, actually. So now it becomes harder for my opponent to like use it to play a threat. Sure, that's fine. All right, land go. Got two Murktide Regents in the deck to win the game with at this point. My opponent has 4 reactive cards in hand or lands that they don't want to use. Totally happy with just casting this. Like, if I get a counter spell out of that, that's fine. If I don't, that's also fine. It is kind of a self-inflicted burn spell though, so like there's that. Okay, sure. Opponent also just could have like some Murktide Regents that are stuck in their hand. Alright, that's not castable on my end. See how long we just continue playing draw go for. That's good. Unsure if I am just supposed to play that out naked. The opponent has 6 cards. But I'm not really going to be in this situation to like use this Force of Will at any point soon while casting this as well. I feel like a lot of those interactions line up better for my opponent than they do for me. Another hard cast Force of Will. Another hard cast Force of Will. I am okay with doing this now. Those cards aren't great. Get rid of Misty and the land, I think. I'll just go ahead and immediately fetch that land out. Am I preordaining? I'm probably preordaining, looking for a threat. Like, Holding up force is medium. Oh, that's fantastic. I'm going to top both of these. I'm going to draw the brainstorm right now so that I have it up for force of will. Then I will have a force of will available to protect Plague Engineer from a lightning bolt type effect. This is a very bizarre game. Okay, opponent is still just passing. I'm playing this around days innately. I'm okay doing it. I would prefer to do this after my opponent has a creature in play, but my opponent is not pressuring me. I am at 6. There are worlds where they can just draw a double lightning bolt and get me. And I would not like to find those timelines. Okay, no end of turn bolt on this or anything. Not that opponent has to. They're probably pretty close to out of mana. Murktide the hard way? Murktide the hard way. Force a will. Do you have another force? No. Opponent, like, very realistically could have another Murktide, though. Let's play this Malevolent Hermit. The mana leak side is not actually all that good right now. If opponent is sitting on multiple Murktides, I am in trouble because that 2-turn clocks me. Yep, that's what's happening. So I have, I think, 3 copies of Baleful Strix to find to mess around with that. That is just a little too late. So I can grief my opponent to see if I'm able to stop a lightning bolt. Daze. Yep. Okay. I like absolutely have to make the play here because I die to lightning bolt, and even if I leave this up, like, that doesn't stop me from being dead. All right. Do you have it? At 2. Am I dead? 3rd Murktide Regent. Absolutely. Card is dumb. That is the death of me. GG's. An opponent didn't cast a spell that I could, like, counter to turn this into a creature so I could chump block or anything. So that is the end of match 1. Alright, round 2. I have a basic land and a ponder to find me my second land. I think I'm going to keep this and assume that, like, Murktide Regent into Murktide Regent is a reasonable thing that will win games of Magic. The second land here is important enough that I think I go ahead and keep this. I'm not, like, stoked with all of those cards, but I think this is good enough to keep. And at some point, like, I'll brainstorm away these excess Lotus Petals, unless shit hits the fan right here. Ah, so this is what it feels like, is it? I got super fucking punished for not playing out this Lotus Petal ahead of time. Thought about it too. You Yokel Hops me, I won't even be mad. Okay, this isn't the Yokel Hops build. Interesting. Yeah. I'm not sure about the play to get rid of that land. Makes sense if they have another soul land, otherwise it's an error. Okay, they do have another soul land. Alright. Alright. I'm dead. The playing out the Lotus Petal would have helped a little bit in that regard, but ugh. Okay, that was not as bad as it could have been. This is the power of, like, the mono red decks, right? Like, I can play something that hops in the way of some of this, but I am very dead as of right now. All right, so I'm on my own here in terms of sideboarding. So I guess, like, the first question is, like, am I a Doomsday deck in this round, or am I entirely on the tempo side of the equation? I think I need to be a Doomsday deck. Like, I'm an okay control deck, but the reason why it felt so good in the last round is, like, Leyline of the Void invalidated so many of my opponent's creatures. Like, I think I want Plague Engineers to answer my opponent's Goblin tokens, and I want some amount of this stuff. Figure out what I don't want now. Knight's Whisper is probably hard on my life total. I think no, I already took out the Flusterstorm. Daze is awkward against soul lands. Like, it will be very good or very bad with little in between, and my opponent. I get rid of Daze and Grief. Is that enough? No, it's not. Maybe this is too many Force of Negation. Actually, Malevolent Hermit is mediocre. It's fine. Let's try something like this. Nope, that's no lands. This is a turn 2 Doomsday. I will absolutely keep this. think I'll pitch a Brainstorm and keep the Murktide Regent, just in case something goes wrong and the Doomsday plan no longer is viable. Like, powerful things can happen very quickly here. For example, so now I'm probably just taking Underground Sea, because I'm going to be bad against a Blood Moon regardless. I cast this purely to filter and put an instant or sorcery into my graveyard. Alright, order out Night's Whisper. What awkwardly here. Put double Temporal Mastery on top of my library. I think I'm effectively going to have to give my opponent one more turn, one way or another, though. Alright, your spell resolves. So I can cast Doomsday now, and then put, like, Temporal on top of my deck. A little soft to Blood Moon that way. I could play out Malevolent Hermit. That's a good defensive play. I think I'm just going to Strix, though. I have 3 pips of Devotion. Next turn, I just cast, like, Doomsday. Or I cast Doomsday and do, like, Mastery, Thassa's Oracle. Yeah, so this is fine to do. This draws me the Lotus Petal. And I could play Malevolent Hermit as well for 4 pips of Devotion. No, then I can't Doomsday. Yeah, so I'm good here. I'd like to find another land so that, like, some Trinisphere type stuff doesn't leave me in a bad situation. Travel Master's fine. Like, 1 damage increasing via tokens is not the end of the world here. Like, it's good. Not the end of the world. Alright, I guess let's do it. Alright. Doomsday happens. So I'll go Mastery, Oracle. Those are guaranteed. I could also just get, like, Island. And then I can do it through a Blood Moon. I also could get Plague Engineer. Just make it so that I can't really die. I don't hate that either, but it's a choice of one or the other. I guess I can do 1 Island and Plague Engineer. I have a Lotus Petal in play still. I guess Karn matters, but eh. Island, or Island, Thassa's Oracle, this. Plague Engineer. Alright, I think I like it. Done. These cards on top of your library. So the Island will be my bottom card. Thassa's Oracle. Double Temporal Mastery. Oh shit. This doesn't actually play around. Yeah, because I have to use the Lotus Petal to cast that. Okay. Alright. Same order, it's just a little more awkward than I thought it was. This may be me being a little too conservative. Just, like, not going for a win. Huh? Like, there's... Ooh. Okay, I mean, like, given that, I'm pretty happy that I went for the Plague Engineer. Because this is a lot of damage. I might die to this. Alright, there's the Plague Engineer. Set those on Goblin. I am dead to a Moon effect now, though. Hoping this is just... Oh, fuck, it's another Bone Crusher Giant. I am immediately dead to that. Yeah, okay. So maybe I should have gone for, like, a Brainstorm Thassa's Oracle situation instead of trying that. I did not play around Double Stomp. Ugh. Alright, so this is round 3. Single Lotus Petal Brainstorm. I don't think this is gonna work out here. Alright, Romario, you playing a creature deck? Mirage doesn't count. Yeah. Not the biggest fan of this situation. Romario's got a really wide range as a player, so, like, we could be, like, everything from a tier 1 deck to, like, fucking Sylvan Plug. So, like, I will not reveal that, unfortunately. So, like, we could be playing against literally anything right now. Since I can back this up with the days, I guess I'll cast this. I'm gonna say no. I don't have any Okay, so we're probably playing against 8 Mulch. Stomping Ground is a very strange land otherwise. So my opponent's deck... Oh, that one. Okay. My Fatal Push doesn't have a lot of text. I think I'm going to go ahead and start with a Grief here. And I think I want to do this right now. Because, Yeah, the mulch effects are really strong. Okay. Um, I think just in terms of raw matchup dynamics, my opponent is quite favored here. Maze of Ith is going to make it hard for me to just finish the game with these little shitters. And I'm not going to be great versus Merit Lodge. Bojuka Bog is like very relevant for my stuff. I'm not going to be great versus Field of the Dead as the games go super, super long. Punished. Absolutely punished for that choice. I also already have one Temporal Mastery in hand. Don't think my opponent is going to be dredging with Life from the Loam. Mana Leak. Mana Leak. Just really can't have that happening right now with how this hand looks. Especially with a Life from the Loam in Graveyard. This does mean that like I'm not getting in for damage anymore. Do I want this now? No, I think I just want to cantrip more. So yeah, okay. That's what I'm looking for. Just gets mazed. Alright, let's always yield to that. Now I do only have a single Temporal Mastery to work with here. No. Alright, so they get another Maze of Ith, so like combat step is just gone. Absolutely not relevant anymore. Okay. So let's do it like this so I don't have to use Lotus Petals. Past that, go ahead and cast a Doomsday. Now I can just go like Knight's Whisper into Thassa's Oracle. That should do it. I can get Temporal Mastery in there too. So I go like Temporal Mastery, Thassa's Oracle, Knight's Whisper. I guess throw like an Island in there as well. And I think I'm good from there. All right, yeah, okay. My opponent has just conceded. Yeah, that's fine. Cool. All right, so the mulch deck list isn't explicitly on here. Lands is. For this, it's assuming this 8 mulch and lands are similar enough that the boarding plan is about the same. Leyline Forces, Opposition Agent, Brazen Borrower. We don't have Opposition Agent. Is this a Necromantia time? Maybe. Okay. Like it's legitimately not bad. So what sort of things am I looking at taking out? Baleful Strix is really bad versus Maze of Ith. That probably has to go. Fatal Pushes probably need to go. Probably trim. I'm going to have very few black cards after cutting this many. That gets me most of this. Probably trim a Malevolent Hermit, and then it's just the question of, like, do I want Necromantia? Naming Life from the Loam is sick. Otherwise, I can eliminate a combo piece if I have to. It's like, fine. I think Daze is pretty bad, too. Especially with my opponent on the play. Alright, I'm going to guess that Necromantia is better than Daze. And we'll play it. But I'm not sure if that's actually true. Like, my opponent has, like, turn 2 things that they very much want to play. This is fine. I have Brazen Borrower for Merit Lodge. I have 2 lands. Not wasteland proof here. F that. I think I have to junk Brazen Borrower here. I just can't. Just absolutely cannot. Yes. Brainstorm will go on bottom here. Maybe Brainstorm. Actually, no. Fuck, I should have drawn Brainstorm to pitch to Force of Negation, because now if my opponent plays a mulch effect, I can't counter that if I want to. Yeah, that was a fuck up on my end. Okay. Yes. That's fine. That's totally fine here. It wouldn't be in a lot of other situations, but it's fine here. I regret fetching. Just want to hold up Force of Negation. Yeah, I fucked that up. I need both black and blue right now. I should not have fetched. That's a very punishable mistake if there's just another wasteland in my opponent's hand. Hoping they just have Life from the Loam and I Force of Negation that. Yeah. But this is something that could have happened last turn. Yeah, I could just be sitting on 2 fetch lands right now and not be wastelandable. Okay. Opponent only has 3 cards in hand. This is probably not bad. Oh my god. Hey, Phil, you were saying about how this probably wasn't bad? You remember when you were saying that, Phil? I remember. Didn't I pitch a Brazen Borrower? I did. Did. Yeah. Yeah. How am I winning? I can put a Temporal Mastery 2 down, and then draw it next turn, take an extra turn. And I just end up in the same situation. Probably have to shuffle. Take the Knight's Whisper. We'll go ahead and shuffle. Go this route. I do Knight's Whisper targeting me. Draw 2 cards and hope that I can basically that I can find the one of Brazen Borrower. My problem here is, like, in addition to the Merit Lodge, like, my opponent has 6 different named cards for Field of the Dead. Let's Preordain first. I just send everything off the top with this. No. No. Deeper. We must go deeper. Murktide Regent means I'm not dead. Put back Leyline, Thassa's Oracle. Batch. Grab C. Murktide Regent, and given that I'm chump blocking, I'm going to exile bad stuff first. I'm already out of range of something like Punishing Fire if my opponent was even playing that. So we're going to keep the goodies in here in case I get to do a follow-up Murktide Regent later. Alright, and next turn I will get to Ponder for Brazen Borrower and hope that that gets me there. I'm very afraid here. Here's my chump block. Surgical on Brainstorm. I respect it. Like, a opponent probably knows that I don't have too many outs to this, so they just want to make it harder for me to dig to and out. Alright, Necromentia is right on time. Alright, Ponder, here we go. Leylines, no. Any order. Shuffle, yes. Dead. Like, I can Doomsday and go to 7 life and let my opponent kill me from 7 instead of 14. But, nope. I think I'm going to resubmit the deck as is. This is a reasonable looking opening hand. It's a little slow for my liking. But, like, I don't feel like I've fully figured out how to play this deck list yet. I mean, yes, order is hard. I don't think I'm ready for Doomsday. I think I'm going to order like that. And maybe try to aggro this game. Like, it's hard because, like, Maze of Ith is just, like, a thing that I have to very consistently respect. Like, having Island on turn 1 so I can't just Doomsday on 3 also is a little rough. Let's Ponder. I know Doomsday's the top card. That's a shock. You gonna, like, blast me? Yeah, sure. Land drop. Fetch. Buy Doomsday. Goodbye Doomsday prospects. Oh, no. I'll shuffle there. Knight's Whisper is totally legit. So I have 1, 2, 3 in graveyard already. Nope. 4 in graveyard. I can make a pretty respectably sized Murktide Regent here. So we'll exile Ponder, 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 Force of Will, and then pay 1 extra mana. Alright, I've got a 3-turn clock with my fucking Murktide Regent here. Or Maze of Ith says easy outs. Okay, there's a immediate cycle. Or play Malevolent Hermit. I'll play Lotus Petal. I'm gonna hold up the Malevolent Hermit activation rather than just immediately play Knight's Whisper. Alright, opponent's at 10. I have 7 damage showing, and then I can burn them with Knight's Whisper. I have a crop rotation type card covered. Okay. My opponent has played Forest. I do not believe that I have to counter this. 4 cards entered the revealed zone. That's fine. Okay, cool. So let's try to hit in for 9. I'm guessing it's working, because I think if my opponent had Pyroblast, it would have happened already. And I will send a Knight's Whisper at my opponent's face. Oh my god. I absolutely meant to do that on my opponent. Oops. I was getting a phone call and just, like, absolutely misclicked. Let's see if that ends up losing me the game. Can't counter that. It very well might. Uh, okay. Opponent is conceding there. Alright, that's fine. Yeah, but I absolutely should have won the game by Night's Whispering my opponent, like, the way that I talked about doing. I'm not happy about how I played that one. We're 1 and 2. Hey folks, Phil here. Real quick, I just want to show you why I ask for likes on videos. So this point right here is when I played 8 Mulch, and that video blew up, had like 1,500 likes, above 300 comments, and that boosted my engagement by so much. You can just kind of see this dearth into this huge boost, and that carries on for days. So this is kind of why content creators ask you for the likes, because it really does help sort of propel your content creators. All right, that's it. Back to the show. Round 4, I'll be keeping my hand. This is another one of those, like, fair hands where are we playing against 8 Mulch again? Um, anyway, this is another one of those fair hands where I'm probably going to play a slow Murktide Regent based game. Preordain? I don't know exactly what I'm looking for yet. Like, this could be Burn, could be lands, could be Delver. Am I just good with having another land drop? This is kind of an awkward land. I'm going to bottom that and just turn my Preordain into a Brainstorm. Like, without knowing what my opponent is on here, that's a very hard decision to make. Okay, it is elves. My post, well, okay, like it can be other things, but elves is pretty likely. Yep, okay, there's the confirmation. This is a, oh no. So, okay, that's fine. That's totally fine. I was worried that, like, I was about to hit, like, Birchlaw Rangers into some shit. This is okay as is. I will say I don't have Doomsday as an immediate out, and my opponent's board is pretty damn threatening, so I'm not hopeful here. Allosaurus Shepherd, oh fuck, okay. Well, I'm gonna take my hands off the keyboard, and whatever happens here, happens here. I had, like, the baby glimpse last turn to just cycle a little bit, which makes sense if they have the other one just kind of sitting in the wing. I'm probably dead next turn. I'm probably not dead this turn. I can be dead this turn. It'll take some work. Sure, Aquarian. Guess I should drag the stack out from under those glimpse triggers, huh? 5 mana. Yeah, sure. Alright, so there's everything that's going on here. With this many things to activate now, I might be in trouble. Because this is now going to be 5 mana plus whatever else Nettle Sentinel can ultimately end up. Oh god. Alright. That's the third glimpse. So at this point, if my opponent can get enough to activate that Allosaurus Shepherd, I could die. I haven't been tracking which of my opponent's cards have and have not been activated yet, though. Alright, so in case you're not familiar with how this works, if you end up with 2 Nettle Sentinels, you essentially can chain together every 1-drop you draw, because these 2 always end up untapping, and then you play a new elf, so you always have 3. So each elf ends up netting you 2 mana. But like Green Suns and Wirewoods don't end up giving you bonus cards here. This feels like a very tough matchup to me. I don't expect to win it. My opponent just has, I'm not quite a good enough control deck to control everything that my opponent is doing, given things like Glimpse and Elvish Visionary and whatnot. And I'm not quite a fast enough combo deck to consistently race them. Like, opponent just apologized for playing slow. I'm very dead. All right, Collector Roof main deck. All right. At this point, is there any world in which I win? Okay. Their chain can keep going with Nettle Sentinel. Oh, that's the third Nettle Sentinel. Okay, so now that is legitimately infinite. Um, I think I'm comfortable conceding at that point. Right, plague engineers are coming in. I think I have to bring in Thoughtseize too. What about Necromentia? Like opposition agent would just be better than Necromentia here, like very specifically. How do I feel about Necromentia more generally? Like shutting off natural order is really good. Shutting off glimpse is really good. How am I gonna know which one's more important to shut off? I'm not. I don't know if I can bring that in. Um, like Strix and Malevolent Hermit are pretty eh. If I do something like this, that gets me these 4 cards. Yeah. I don't know about Necromentia. Okay. I have a Force of Will and a handful of cantrips. I don't know, maybe I have to mulligan to like... Are there Dark Rituals in my deck? No, there's not Dark Rituals in my deck. I can't mulligan to Dark Ritual Doomsday. Just making sure it wasn't one of those leagues where, like, I just randomly haven't drawn a Dark Ritual in 5 rounds. I'm bottoming Island. I'm gonna bottom this as well. Daze is respectable. I potentially will just, like, Daze my opponent's first card. Yes. Absolutely on that one. Absolutely on that one. My opponent kept the no-lander. I can get a freebie. Okay, they did not. Can't be countered. Ahem. Ahem. Alright. Not great. Like, I can get a Murktide Regent into play pretty quickly. I don't think I can keep this stuff here. I need more cantrips. Shuffle. Brainstorm. Alright. Well, since my green spells can't be countered, I'm going to go ahead and F6 here and see how bad this is. So that's a green sun for a Dryad Arbor. Oh, all in all, that's not too bad. I'll take 1 and then try to like find a Plague Engineer or something with my turn. I think Brainstorm is better than Baleful Strix. I don't think Baleful Strix holding the ground is going to win this game. Don't think that's super realistic. Murktide Regent just crashing in for 8 3 times could. Go Underground Sea, Onder. I will have 5 things in graveyard. Murktide Regent is good. I have Force pitching Thassa's Oracle for my opponent's broken combo thing. I have Baleful Strix to help hold the ground. I'm looking for a Doomsday after this. This is fine. I will take these cards. Oh, right. I don't really have Force of Will, actually, because, you know, this card is pretty broke. Oh, maybe I should have shuffled there then. Alright, I will take 1 down to 17. Under first. Under first is probably okay. There's very little I can hit. It makes me significantly change my play pattern. That's okay. Not shuffle. I'll play this. I'll crack this, mostly to clear the top of the library. Go Grief. Pitching Strix. Target you. This gives me a chance to take like a natural order or something out of my opponent's hand. Ugh. Okay. I'm very glad they didn't endurance me. We'll take the natural order. Their hand's good though. And then we will do the whole Murktide Regent song and dance. I've got a 3-turn clock. My opponent doesn't have a lot of mana. Quarian Ranger kind of helps with that. So like they can play Quarian Ranger, bounce Savannah, replay it immediately. And that helps out with a lot of the mana bottlenecking here. Sure. And then, yeah. That's gone. Okay, my opponent did hit a new land drop, so that gets Quarian Ranger into play. Now, my opponent does not have castable Thoughtseize right now. But, like, onboard Allosaurus Shepherd activation is kind of rough, right? So it's 1, 2, 3, Quarian Ranger untap, 4, Firewood activation, 5. It hit for 10. That's not great. Don't trample. I guess my turn is always starting with a Brainstorm. Another Murktide Regent. 4 cards in graveyard. Gunk Force Cavern. 5 cards in graveyard. 2, 4, 5. 2, 4, 5. I'm doing this before I start clicking on Murktide Regent because my opponent has endurance. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Play Murktide Regent. Make it larger. Gives me Delta. I will attack for 10 with a Murktide Regent. Half my opponent's life total. I have them dead next turn. Although they can cast Endurance to stay alive, actually. That's not entirely true. This is close. See what my opponent can do. They have like Wirewood Elvish Visionary, so they can draw a handful of cards. Okay, 1 mana. We're going to... Okay, yeah, we're going to start seeing untap shenanigans. Mana, is it just free to play Visionary? No. Okay, they're going for Endurance. Oh shit, did they draw Natural Order? That's 3. Okay, oh no, okay, it is an Endurance. That's fine. So they target themselves so that they can put a Natural Order back in their deck. Okay. So my opponent loses this Endurance in combat. Can I attack with the other Murktide Regent, and do I want to fetch? My opponent can go 1, 2, 3. If I assume they draw a land, that's 4. Barbarian Ranger, that's 5. Oh, this, 1 point of life might be relevant. No, I have this Baleful Strix, actually. In which case I am going to fetch. I'll just grab another Underground Sea. Four of a kind. I can put, I win next turn with Doomsday any number of different ways. But I also win next turn with the Murktide Regent that's already in play. I think I am just going to play Baleful Strix here. Draw a card with that. Wow. I'll go ahead and play the Thassa's Oracle. Like, I'm showing my opponent a card that I don't necessarily have to show them. But this is a common enough deck list that I would expect a Legacy player to have recognized what was going on here. I also don't remember if they have, like, just already physically seen a Doomsday. I'm on my 8th or 9th match that I've recorded today. 9th match that I've recorded today. Would I like to put a card on top of my library? No. I don't think I do. I'm gonna attack with this one. Like, I could attack with this as well. I'm gonna let the Endurance jump block, and then, like, we'll see if I'm dead. I shouldn't be dead to the onboard Allosaurus Shepherd. Like, I think I lived through that. But, like, there's other things that I can die to here. It's also possible, like, this Murktide Regent attack is correct, but, like, having 3 bodies back makes me feel pretty good against the onboard Allosaurus Shepherd. 1 mana for... Okay, there's an untap with Wirewood. Okay, there's 2 mana for just a Visionary redraw. That's fine. Like, that's very well and good for me. Alright, land drop from my opponent. They're going deeper on something. Oh, they're just gonna Thoughtseize. Nope. Oh, yeah, Thoughtseize doesn't make sense, right? Okay, there's a Green Sun for 1. So that can get a Heritage Druid. That can get a an Endurance into play. Yeah. Oh. Oh, they're going for a win. They're not going for a not lose. Okay. Absolutely. Oh. Okay, so they have 1, 2, 3 for Endurance here. I guess to myself. 1, 2, 3 for Endurance. This is probably the point. Actually, if I Doomsday... Fuck, I think I might be dead. If I cast this Doomsday and try to set up, like, Temporal Mastery nonsense, I go down to 7, and there's just a better chance that, like, some elves sneak through and I die. Shit. Let's find Plague Engineer. Grief. Don't really want that. I'm gonna throw back Grief, Doomsday. I'm gonna play Ponder because this lets me look. No, I am gonna Ponder. Ponder lets me look at 2 cards here. Preordain lets me look at 1. No. I will shuffle those cards. I do not want that Lotus Petal. Preordain. Man, maybe I should have attacked with the other Murktide Regent last turn. Bottom that. I guess top the Strix. Play it with Lotus Petal. Just get deeper. I just play another fucking Murktide Regent here, don't I? Jesus. Okay. Blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a stupid magic card. This is an 8/8. That means that I have lethal. So I attack with this, my opponent flashes in Endurance, blocks this, and then I have 9 damage in the air. Ugh. Murktide is a stupid magic card. Oh my god. Alright. Do this again. This, I think, has to be a mulligan. Even with Brainstorm trying to fix this hand, I just, like, don't have anything going on quickly. This is a more reasonable looking opening hand. I'll throw back 1 land and call that good. Oh, my opponent has gone to 5. That bodes well for me. I'm not taking this as a sign of victory by any means, but I need a little something here. Okay, so there's the fetch land. We'll see what my opponent's follow-up is. Am I getting Thought Seized? I'm getting Thought Seized. I'm presumably just losing the Murktide Regent, although that's not clear-cut. Like, taking Knight's Whisper is also not crazy. But taking an instant or sorcery puts me closer towards just casting the Murktide Regent quickly, so, like, that's a thing. Ooh, they are going for the Ponder to just kind of, hamstring me in the early game. Okay. I don't know about that choice. I'm not saying it's wrong. I don't know about it. I think it's tough. Yeah, I should put maybe fetch to thin here. Okay, is this a Night's Whisper or Brainstorm situation? I want it to be a Brainstorm. That lets me find Fatal Push. Temporal Mastery is cute, but I don't think I want to mess around with that right now. I think I'm going to go Mastery, Lotus Petal back. I should have played Misty there. It really doesn't matter, but just little things. Then I'm going to cast a Preordain. No! Bottom both of those. Thoughtseize is an okay magic card. I have enough cards in graveyard to play a Murktide Regent now. Okay, cool. Alright, got some messages from ye old podcast group. And I am dead on board next turn. Uh-oh. Yeah, Gaia's Cradle, activate for 5, 20 damage. I need to find Plague Engineer as my draw for turn, I think. Missing that draw, I think, means that I have 2 Fatal Pushes as outs on Alsar Shepherd, or I can hit both Lotus Petal and Plague Engineer. So I know the bottom 2 cards in my library. I have a 2 in 45 outer, or I have a 2 in 46 outer plus drawing Plague Engineer plus Lotus Petal at the same time is thing. I will fetch and allow myself to shuffle in those 2 Lotus Petals that are on the bottom of my deck. And then I'll Brainstorm. Fatal Push. Fuck yeah. That's very good. Put back double Thoughtseize here, I think. My opponent is Hellbent. I will play Lotus Petal. Cast Fatal Push. Target Allosaurus Shepherd. Then play this asshole. Ponder, Brainstorm, Preordain, Brainstorm, Fatal Push. So this is it. This is the power of Ultra Instinct. Alright. Thoughtseize is weird if my opponent has exactly Endurance as their 1 card. I think I'm good with it. Actually, I'll do this first. I don't want to draw that Thoughtseize, though. So fetch. I'll leave the last Underground in the deck. Don't know my fetch land distribution off the top of my head. Oh, from an earlier round, I'm sure someone has already commented this. Night's Whisper doesn't target. I was thinking of Sign in Blood, which does. I was even clicking it as if it was Sign in Blood, just because I'm so used to casting that card. And drawing that Temporal Mastery there is awkward. Alright. Is it Endurance? Find out. Metal Sentinel. Alright, take 8. I will take 4 on the back swing for that. That exchange rate is acceptable for me. If I draw another Murktide Regent or cantrip into 1, my opponent dies next turn. And my opponent has to put a significant... Yeah. This card's fucking stupid. Card is absolutely fucking stupid. And I just have, like, the bonus mana to do this, too. Yeah. Alright. GG's. Yep. Alright. There's the GG's in the chat from the opponent as well. Murktide Regent is good. Doomsday, questionable. Yeah, opponent was basically like, why does this stupid thing get bigger with the second one? Like, friend, I am so with you. And that's it. We're 2-2 now, right? Yeah, we're 2-2. All right. Round 5 opening hand is weird. I think I keep it still. Like, I can cast a Doomsday on turn 2. Like, that's not bad. If I get hit with a discard spell or something and I lose this, I can still try to do Murktide Regent bullshit. Alright, opponent mulliganed once. I should have played that Lotus Petal in case my opponent was like, I don't know. I got punished for in another round for not playing a Lotus Petal out. Against Snow-Covered Island, I think I'm just going to Night's Whisper here rather than just immediately jam Doomsday. Opponent, like, may or may not be a Wasteland deck. But, like, since I have double blue that I care about and triple black that I care about, I don't think I'm going to play around that. I will play out this Lotus Petal now, though, to play Night's Whisper around. This isn't Sign in Blood. Is automatically doing that. Okay. That's pretty respectable. I want a Brainstorm to put this Temporal Mastery back on top of my deck. Okay. So we're probably playing against blue-white X control. Yes, guy's pretty popular right now. Ooh. This could just be Delver with a Snow-Covered Island. So this Cavern of Souls is going to be saved for Murktide Regent. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, got my extra turn. Do I want to use Lotus Petal to just play Baleful Strix this turn? Oh man, this gets exiled. It doesn't go to my graveyard for Murktide. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'll just make a land drop with that Temporal Mastery and call that good. Malevolent Hermit. Absolutely. Alright. So let's play a Baleful Strix. Ponder. Put this on Dragon. And let's cast a Malevolent Hermit so that I can leave up its activation. And then next turn, I can make at least a 5/5 Murktide Regent. Ooh. When it's on Show and Tell. Absolutely. Alright. Now I know. Cast a Ponder. Just looking for more Force of Will type cards. Yes. Lotus Petal goes on bottom. I want to cast a Ponder. I can cast Ponder, cast Murktide. Still hold up thingy. Yes. Not shuffle my library then. Ponder. Yeah, I'm good with these for sure. Alright. Murktide Regent. Dragon. Blue. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess technically I should do this post-combat. But I'm not super expecting that to matter here. Alright. Attack for 3, and then I'll attack for 9, and then 9. Got an on... Ooh. That is a sneak attack. So I think what I'm gonna go ahead and do here is just mana leak this. And that requires the use of all 3 of these resources, and then I will daze. Uh-huh. Okay, they are gonna very obviously pay for it. There goes that. Now we daze. Loop! That's just disgusting. Alright, good shit. I still just have a 2-turn clock as well. How much is this to flashback? 3. So I can still brainstorm ahead of time. That's fine. Put back like a Lotus Petal. I can just play the Lotus Petals out now. Put back like Doomsday. Temporal Mastery. Land drop. Lotus Petal. Lotus Petal. 3 mana. Crash in for 7. I have Force of Will for whatever my opponent does around both Daze and Spell Pierce. Show and Tell. No. Absolutely not. Okay, nice. Okay. So, we talked about it in the intro. It's time, baby. It's time. Probably bringing in 9 cards here. See if Max has any notes for me. By the way, this whole thing is available on his Twitter as a recent post. You might have to go back like a week, but it's available. No. What does he do versus Reanimator? Versus Reanimator, he bores out the whole Doomsday package. I'm gonna assume this kind of works the same way, in that like this is going to be a heavy sideboarding matchup. So if I board out this package, it's Doomsday, Thassa's Oracle, both Temporal Masteries. What's after that? Fatal Push. Fatal Push. Yeah, I think I like that. This is super disruptive. I'll absolutely keep this. It's a little awkward. Play Swamp on 1, then not have days available for 2. I'm keeping this hand, but I might have to fetch Underground Sea on turn 1. Makes future cantrips a little worse. Makes an opposing Blood Moon a little better. Alright, opponent's on 6. Fiery Islet. Absolutely. Not a lot of show and tell bouncing around right now. Alright, Baleful Strix. Not a great draw. Like at the end of the day, it cantrips. It's okay. But not super what I'm looking for. I'm gonna take the Grizzlebrand and make my opponent find both halves of their combo. Like, taking the Force of Will so they don't have protection is cool and all, but the Force of Will is not live currently. There's a lot of worlds where my days ends up getting pitched to Force rather than actually getting a spell, just kind of based on how things look right now. I'm just gonna play Strix and convert this into a card and start pecking. Yes. Probably don't get to play that next turn. I can probably play it the following turn, though. I'm going to try to never drop double Force of Will if I can. But, like, I really do need to string cantrips together in order to kind of do my thing. Yeah, absolutely. So, like, after this Brainstorm, opponent's hand is, like, absolutely some number of question marks. Not going to delete these, but there's a very good chance Ancient Tomb is not there anymore. Okay, we're absolutely going deeper. At this point, do I daze one of these? 3 cards in graveyard, 4, 5. No, probably not. Alright, that's the end of their turn. Love that. Let's ponder Grief. I liked I would be fine casting a Grief next turn. I think I'm going to be good with this. Will not shuffle my library. I'm gonna hold this so I have double Force available. I'll play this land so I have the opportunity to junk Grief if necessary. And it's also just better versus a Blood Moon type card. This is fine. Like, Grief just allowing me to peek at my opponent's hand here is also pretty legit. And that is a shuffle. Okay, City's fine. Attack. I will daze that. Returning an Underground Sea to do so. Alright, do I still want Grief now that I have bounced a land? I can't play it this turn. No, I'd rather draw a blue card at this point. Doomsday's not in my deck, right? Doomsday's not in my deck. I already have black. I'm just gonna get basic island on the off chance that I do need to be. I could have just hardcast that, I guess. That was a fuck up on my end. I drew a blue card. Do I play Murktide this turn? Guess I can attack while I think about it. Opponent's at 12. Yeah, if I play Murktide, it's a 5/5. It's a 2-turn clock. Yes, I play that this turn. I will delve both lands out of my graveyard to leave up protection from days. Magic card's stupid. That is a show and tell. We'll Force a Will that. Pitching Ponder, I think. That is a Force a Will back. Pitching an Omniscience. That is a Force a Will back. And opponent is not going to have anything else. Fiery Islet to draw a card. Okay. I respect it. Opponent can have the absolute nuts and still technically win this. Like, it would require drawing another show and tell effect. And they did not. So we end up with a 3-2 in this league. Overall thoughts on the deck list. Murktide Regent is very stupid. I don't know how I feel about the rest of the deck. I'm not saying that this deck is bad. I think this deck has a lot of potential, and I think this deck has a high skill ceiling if you get good at it. That said, I believe in 5 rounds, I did not win a single game via Thassa's Oracle. I believe all of the games were ended by that point. So this is really a Murktide Regent deck first and a Doomsday deck second. And if you're just trying to play the best Murktide Regent deck, isn't that just Blue-Red Delver? So, like, I get that your matchup profiles are going to be different, but I'm not sure if it's worth having a bunch of things like Doomsday, Thassa's Oracle, Temporal Mastery in your deck if, like, the plan is just turn Murktide Regent sideways 3 times and your opponent is dead. Like, I feel like you can do that more efficiently in other ways and tax your opponent's removal harder by playing more must-answer threats. Like a Malevolent Hermit or a Baleful Strix is not a must-answer threat, right? As far as Grief goes, C+, B-. Like, the black count is very light in this deck to make this work, and I don't think this is better than more copies of other things that are already in the deck, or like a random Flusterstorm. Max's original version had Fluster, Fatal Push, like that a decent amount. Necromantia was boarded in the show and tell matchup, which is like the one spot where I very specifically said that I wanted it, but I would have boarded in Opposition Agent more times than I would have boarded in Necromantia. Overall, this Tempo Doomsday deck feels like a real deck list, but I don't know that it's better than other Murktide Regent decks, which is kind of the metric that I would be using to measure whether or not I would play this deck. I think if you are already a Doomsday player, you should be exploring this build, but if you're not a Doomsday player already, like, maybe don't go out of your comfort zone to learn for this specific version of the deck list. Anyway, folks, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please click the like button on the way out. If you have any specific thoughts about the deck list, please throw those in the comments, and I'll get back to you. Have a great rest of the day, and if you're really enjoying the content and want to get one of your own decks on the channel, that information is available in the video description. See ya!